We're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry ChillyBoy Chilson, and this is my review for The Lost King. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Lost King comes from the spotlight on UK and Ireland cinema track here at the 2022 Denver Film Festival. The film is a 2022 based on real life drama directed by Stephen Friars that follows an ambitious divorcee who finds herself in a position as a somewhat amateur historian to discover and redeem the long lost body of King Richard III. I purely based my decision to select this film as part of my personal Denver Film Festival program based on Sally Hawkins. She's the lead in this film, and all I needed to see was her in that poster to say, I want to watch that one. It sounds fun. Because literally, other than Sally Hawkins, I knew nothing about this heading into my viewing. And ultimately, I had a really good time. This was such a delightful viewing experience for a Sunday afternoon. So let's go ahead and jump into the positives first. Well, my biggest positive is, in fact, Sally Hawkins herself. What a wonderful performance in the leading role here. She just oozes charm and charisma naturally as an actress, and that is in full force when it comes to this film. She doesn't nail this quirky but likable woman, this underdog who has a presence to her. Then you don't fully buy into the story that the film itself is trying to sell, and Hawkins easily delivers it. It's a great performance. So thought Steve Coogan, who plays her ex-husband, was fantastic, and his character was a great character, one that I wasn't anticipating, especially at the beginning of the film. He starts out quite unlikable and then evolves into a much more complex and needed representation of a supportive ex-husband or a supportive man in a woman's life in general. Imagine my surprise to see Sir Robert Baratheon and Viserys Targaryen, aka the Harry Lloyd version from Game of Thrones, both in this film. It took me by shock because I'm not sure I've seen either of them in many roles outside of Game of Thrones, and they were both really wonderful. Mark Addy, particularly, who did play Robert Baratheon, and I am a little bit more familiar with, was really a delight in the role. The story is also very intriguing. It is based off of a real story of Philippa and her journey to find the long lost resting place of King Richard III. And in doing so, also hoping to redeem the king's story itself. It's fascinating. It sets this up as kind of an underdog story, but one that really kept me fully invested in her plight to overcome all of these obstacles and all of these things that are put in her way as everybody tries to kind of dismiss her and then tries to take credit away from her. And it really made for an endearing character that you put your full support behind. Alexander Desplat does the score. Oh, and it's so good, so lively. It fits the mood of the film so perfectly. And at a nice hour and 48 minutes, it never overstays its welcome. It tells its story that it's seeking to portray in a brisk manner. And I was thoroughly entertained from start to finish. I learned something new. I learned a new name, and I had a good time with the film I was watching. Well, then, what doesn't work so well when it comes to The Lost King? Well, it doesn't break any mold. It doesn't really break any new ground. And that is a bit of a shame when you're telling a story that literally breaks ground to make history. It plays out very by the numbers. It's not going to win awards. It's not going to push boundaries by any means. It's more of a nice, pleasant film to watch. I personally don't have a problem with that, but I do think it's worth noting. And while I did enjoy the brisk runtime overall, I think the third act needed a little bit more development specifically. After our film hits its natural crescendo, I wanted more on the post end of that. And also, I think the direction tends to fall just a tad bit flat overall. It's not quite flashy enough for the fantastical element, the spirit of King Richard III appearing in the normal world. It doesn't quite fully blend in that fantastical element, while also not giving us enough interesting direction and cinematography to look at when we're not dealing with that fantastical element. So I wish that they had done more on a visual plane to blend the fantasy into the true story dramatic narrative. But overall, I really enjoyed The Lost King. I had a smile on my face for the majority of the film. It blends in the humor really well with endearing characters, really nice story that makes for a wonderful viewing experience. So that is my review for The Lost King. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. What did you think of The Lost King? Let me know either in the comment section down below or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye.